Hello, friends. This is Olga at Anti-Natal Earth Arts. Welcome to our Tuesday night webinar. And thanks so much for finding the time to join us in. The topic today is wonderful, one of my favorites, the power of manifesting. And I know many of you have been working on it. There's always room to improve. And we have an excellent presenter today, Lynn Noble, who is the TEDx presenter. She's actress, a photographer, educator, and just a wonderful human being. And I also am fortunate to have one of her books here, Let the Spirit Move You, and this became my nightstand book because it's just full of wisdom. Very simple, true statement that just put me into this very calm and peaceful state of being, and I'm very grateful for it. And Lynn is also working on her other book, which she will tell us about in a few minutes. And just one more point is just pay attention to the slideshow. She prepared this wonderful slideshow, and it's full of her own photography, which is amazing. So sit back, relax, enjoy. If you have any questions or stories to share, we can do it after the presentation. We're gonna have a Q&A. And for now, maybe just mute your microphone so we don't get any static from your living rooms. Thank you. Hi, Lynn. Great to have you. Yeah, we can hear you right now.
There we go.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here talking about this. It's one of my favorite subjects ever since I was a kid. Is that better? Okay. All right. You can hear me? Okay, good. I'll start over here. So manifesting is one of my favorite topics ever since I was little. And as Olga said, I'm in the process of writing a book called Think It, Feel It, Be It with a friend of mine. His name is Scott Katsura. And I met him on an airplane ride out to Los Angeles when I was going to visit my daughter. And it was just one of those moments where I had changed my seat that morning. My husband said, you know, it's an awfully long flight. Do you want a row with a little bit extra leg room? And I said, sure. He said, well, which row do you want, 10 or 11? I said, well, 11's my favorite number, so put me in that seat. So that's what he did. And lo and behold, Scott ends up in the seat right next to me. We ended up talking the entire flight. And he had written a book called I'm Writing My Own Story. And I had always loved the idea of manifesting, and I'm writing another manifesting book as well. And I always wanted to put out a book for kids, but could never seem to find the right person to write this with. And, you know, it's funny, sometimes the universe makes you wait a little bit longer until the perfect timing. And that's, I think, when I was 18 years with my daughter earlier, and I said a few years ago, and she said, Mom, that's not a few years ago. That was many years ago. So when I was 18 years old, I was in a bathroom at a restaurant, and I saw this on the back of the door. If your mind can conceive it, your heart can believe it, then you can achieve it. And I don't know who wrote it. I know Muhammad Ali wrote something similar to this, but it just always stuck in my mind as the most profound saying ever. And I really took that to heart. And I used to go home and make goal list and write all the things that I wanted. And I think that's really what started the process of me becoming a great manifester. The gift. Now, the gift I want to talk about is something that everybody has. No matter who you are, where you're from, what you look like, everybody has this gift. And what it is, it's the ability to create our dreams. And we all can do that. Now imagine your life really is a blank canvas. You can create anything you want on that canvas. So imagine that you are the architect and the universe is the builder. So just like an architect, you have to be very detailed in everything that you write. You need to make those blueprints exactly perfect and with so much detail that the builder can give you exactly what you want. Now imagine if you're an architect that just says, oh, well, here's 4 walls here. I'm not going to tell you how high I want them or how big I want them, just I want 4 walls in a room. Well, the universe is going to say, well, we're not exactly sure what you want, so we'll build you something that looks similar, but it may not be exactly what you want. So just remember that when you're creating your own life, that you need to be very, very detailed in what you put out there and what you dream of. Here's one of my poems. I love to write poems, so I insert them wherever they seem to fit. So creativity. Every mind has the ability to let the soul be creative. We are all artists of our own destiny. Whether you create with love or fear, the art you make will determine your path. And I love that because it's very true. However we create, that's exactly what our life is going to turn into. I want to talk about knowing. And knowing is something that you absolutely know beyond the shadow of a doubt to be true. When you're manifesting, you need to have that knowing. You have to know with all of your heart that what you want has already happened. So you need to act like it's already there. And I have a story. When my daughter was graduating from college, she was doing an internship, and we kept saying, are you gonna start putting applications out there, trying to find a job? And she'd say, I know where I'm gonna work. And we'd be like, okay. I knew enough that Casey's a pretty good manifester that I knew it would probably work out. So I didn't get on her back too much about it. But sure enough, when she graduated, boom, she had the job where she wanted, because she knew without a doubt that she was going to work there. And another great story that I have is my sister, Tara, was visiting, and she's got 2 beautiful daughters, my nieces, and they were probably about, 5 or 6 at the time. And the older one, Josie, was sitting on a kitchen counter, and Tara and I were talking. And at that time, they were having a little bit of financial issues. So I said to Tara, I said, you know what? Just what you need to do is just keep repeating to yourself and keep knowing with all your heart that money comes easily and readily. I heard that they use that term in one of the movies called The Secret. So just money comes easily and readily. Money comes easily and readily. So a few months later, Tara starts noticing that her daughter, Josie, is finding money wherever she goes. She's picking up quarters and dimes and pennies, and everywhere she goes, she finds money. And so finally, Tara says, Josie, how are you finding all this money? And she said, Mom, I'm just doing what Auntie Lynn told me to do. Money comes easily and readily. So that to me is one of the reasons why kids are such great manifestors, because once you tell them something, they believe it. And you need to believe and have that knowing. The saying, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, one of my favorite authors, Wayne Dyer, says, he flips it. I'll see it when I believe it. So again, believing goes along with knowing. You need to know and believe with all your heart that it's already there. Okay, so think it, feel it, be it. These are 3 things that are so important, and it's going to be really the main things that help you to open up this gift that we all have, which is the ability to create our dreams, our own reality. Your thoughts control your feelings guide your actions, and your actions create your dreams. So let's start with think it. So right now, I want to give you some exercises to do that will help you start to get your mind thinking in creative ways, because we need to turn on that creativity switch to be able to even create what we want. Some people don't know how to actually come up with big dreams. I mean, think about it. Like the first saying, if your mind can conceive it. Sometimes people can't even conceive of things. So think big, think as big as you can, because whatever you can dream up, you can achieve. Okay, one of the ways to kind of clear the slate in your brain is to meditate. This will quiet your mind so you can start to get a clearer picture of what you want to create. When we meditate, our brain just has so many thoughts and chatter going on everywhere that sometimes it's hard for us to even know exactly what we want. So if we sit quietly for a few minutes, however long you can manage to do this, even a minute would be great. You just close your eyes and just listen to your breath. That's the easiest way to do it. You can listen to your breath. You can imagine a feather floating up and down. Some people use a mantra. I use hum saw, and I'll just repeat that over and over again. And thoughts will come in. Lots of thoughts come in, but that's okay. Don't get worried. But the minute that they come in, just recognize them and send them along their way. Eventually, your mind will quiet, and then you'll be able to hear more clearly what it is you really, really would like to create. Here's another one of my poems. With open eyes, I can see only what is immediately in front of me. But by closing my eyes, I can see infinite possibilities. I can see the universe in all its vastness. So that's one of the things when you meditate, you can see anything and everything. You can see the entire universe. So anything is possible. Another exercise I like to do when I'm trying to manifest is something called vision boards. And what a vision board is, it's a visual that you can set in your bedroom or your kitchen or your living room or somewhere where you see this every day, and you can put all your hopes and dreams on there. So what I like to do is I'll get I save magazines. Whenever I have a chance, I save magazines everywhere I go. So you just cut and paste, cut pictures that appeal to you and sayings that appeal to you. And then you just glue them all on this board. And pretty soon you'll start to see little things popping in, because once you get it out and onto a board, you're making that blueprint a little bit better. So you'll be able to create what you want. Here's another example of another one I did. Sometimes you can even get more creative and make it more artistic. And this one doesn't even have any words on it. It was just more of a feeling. I was feeling these animals that day. So it's really kind of a look into your soul sometimes when you do these vision boards. I know my daughter, when she moved out to LA, she made a vision board, and she had a picture of these mountains in Hawaii in this vision. And wouldn't you know it, her first job was actually right near those actual mountains. So it's amazing when you put things on there, you'll just start to see things pop into your life. Drawing and painting is another way to express yourself. And you can, if you want a beautiful necklace or a bicycle or a certain job, kind of draw it. If that's how you like to express yourself, you can draw and paint it. Creative clouds. Now this is a way to really start to get your mind thinking in different ways. So I know when I was a kid, I would lay outside. My Grammy would take us in her yard, and we would just lay in the grass and just stare up at the sky and try to make all different shapes. I saw this cloud picture when I was driving in a car one day in the passenger seat. But it's a heart. And my mother-in-law always told me that whenever you see a heart, whether you find a rock that's in the shape of a heart, or in this case, clouds, that the universe is smiling on you. So if you always try to find the hearts, you'll know that you're getting a great sign from the universe. Shadow art is another fun thing that I like to do. And this lets you look at the world from a different perspective. So it just gets creativity going and gets you thinking differently. And when you start to be able to see things from different perspectives, it'll just open up your brain, and you'll be able to think even more creatively and be able to manifest your dreams a little bit easier. Okay, situation flip. I love doing this, and my kids are so great at doing this. You can take almost every negative situation and flip it into a positive. We would do this sometimes if the kids would come home from school, or they'd come in and say, oh, well, this happened today. And I'd say, okay, well, how can we flip this around? So, Casey, my daughter, when she was younger, she used to go to this farm, and she loved it there. She had the horses, and she loved her instructor so much. And one day we found out that they were selling the farm, and Casey was just devastated. She cried and cried. She was probably only 8 years old at the time. And it was just the worst thing that could possibly happen to her. So I said to her, you know what? Things usually happen for a reason. So let's see if we can flip this situation and see how we can make this better. So I ended up going home and I called her instructor and I said, you know what? You have a farm in your backyard, a barn and a nice ring for horses. Why don't you start teaching lessons for the kids? Well, she ended up doing that. And the situation got flipped into the most amazing situation that could have possibly happened. My daughter is like a second daughter, is like a daughter to her. She's a second mother to my daughter. Her name's Bonnie. And she's been going there for years, since she's been 8 years old, and now she's 28. So you can think of ways to flip situations for the positive. There's always a way, I guarantee, that you can make some positive out of the situation. Word flip. This is another thing. When you're manifesting, you have images in your mind of the blueprint you want to create, but keep in mind that the words you speak also help you manifest. So you have to be really careful what you say. So in this case, this ice cream is to die for. Well, would you really want to die for this ice cream? How about this ice cream is to live for? That sounds much better. I would rather live to eat it another day. Or I hope I get my work done today. Well, what you really should say is, I will get my work done today. So just remember that whatever you say, the universe will always agree with you. So anytime you say something, try doing this. Add this to the front of your sentence. The universe says, yes, I will get my work done today. The universe says, yes, I will have the best job interview today. So everything you do, just say, and the universe says yes. And that will tell you whether you're on the right track and you have your right words in place. Okay, focused thought is another thing. Have you ever, I know when I was pregnant, I was thinking about being pregnant. I would see pregnant women everywhere. I would see people pushing strollers. It was focused thought. It's almost like you're looking through life with binoculars, when you can see things up in such detail and they're so close to you that you really pull it in. You'll pull in what you're thinking about. I know one of the times I got this new car and I was so excited about it. And I just kept thinking, oh my God, this car's amazing. I love driving this car. Everybody's going to love seeing me in this car. It's just incredible. Well, everywhere I went for like that first month, when I had that focused thought, people would stop me and say, wow, I really love your car. I mean, one time I was on a highway in traffic and somebody rolled down their window from another car and yelled over to me and said, wow, I really like your car. And it wasn't a super special car, but because I had that thought and my attention was on it all the time, people also notice, because it's an energy that goes out there. Feel it. Here's the next section. So now I'm going to give you some exercise to help you start feeling it, because once you start to think exactly what you want and you get your brain in the thinking mode, you need to get your body in the feeling mode, because that's really what's going to push the manifestation to happen, when you get that feeling behind it. So one of the ways to get that working is intuition. And I like to think of intuition as the gatekeeper for our emotions. So next time you have a situation that you're wondering what you should do, just say to yourself, gatekeeper, should you walk through this gate? So this is what you do. You'll ask them, well, how does it make me feel? How does this situation make me feel? If it makes me feel good, do it. If it makes me feel bad, don't do it. Simple as that. Really, it is as simple as that. So many people try to rationalize, well, I might not feel good, but it's a really nice person. Maybe I should do it. Really, if you start to listen to that intuition and that gatekeeper, it will make a huge difference. And you'll know, just start to listen. Okay, energy vibrations. Now, I love this. Our thoughts really are vibrations that go out to the universe. So it's an energy that we put out there. So I like to say when I'm getting in that flow of manifesting, it's kind of like jumping on the waves. So ride those energy vibration waves. And once you get in that flow, it's almost like being in the flow of a river. You can just go and go and go, and it will take you to whatever it is you're manifesting. I have two of my favorite authors is, let's wait 1 second. My husband's walking in the door. I just heard him. I don't want him to, hi, John. I'm in the middle of a webinar. Okay, so two of my favorite authors are Wayne Dyer and Esther Hicks. And they were having a conversation one day about energy vibrations. And what they said was, you know, when you're trying to manifest, how can we make this happen faster? And what the answer was you need to be at a really high vibration. And that's when the universe will hear you. And what that is, it's kind of like a tingling. Do you ever get the goosebump feeling? That's what it is. And I wrote a poem about it. My body feels the tingling whenever I push my mind to reach further. It is within this vibration that your greatest thoughts will come through. The key to everything unique to you will unfold very quickly when you're in this state. There is always a connection to be felt. When you have this connection, all forces are working together to bring you to your great potential. And I love that, because that's exactly what it is. It's you have to bring yourself to that goosebump vibration. And you know, once you're there, boom, things can happen so quickly. So the energy you put out is the same energy that you will attract. So think of yourself as a living magnet. You know, we put good energy out, we're going to get good energy back. And so just keep that. Just keep thinking of yourself as a magnet, and you're going to attract everything that you put your thought on. Okay, raise your vibration. I love this because, you know, really think of it as get a vibration high. If you can just think of that, you can get a high just from your energy. And that's what you want to focus on. Getting that high, and you will manifest very quickly. Going. And one way to create a feeling is through movies. Harry Potter, you have that adventure feel. You know, Elf, if you want to be really happy and laughing, you'll watch something like Elf because it will make everybody smile, and you can't help but be happy when you watch it. If you're feeling in a romantic mood, you can watch The Notebook, which always makes you feel good because it's about love. So anytime there's love, again, it will make you feel good. And when you feel good, you can manifest even quicker. I put Jaws in there. I just wanted to put that there to show you that sometimes, you know, obviously when you watch Jaws, you're going to be afraid and scared, and it's not the best feeling for manifesting, but you can manifest when you're in those states. And on the highway, there's this car that image of this tree on car for years. It was in my head always. And this was when I was pretty little, many, 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 many years ago. So it's always been on my head that, oh my gosh, what if a tree falls on my car? Well, one day, this was a few years back, I was driving with my daughter Bailey in Bethlehem, and we were sitting in traffic, and all of a sudden, they were very small trees on the side of the road, but nonetheless, all of a sudden there was a windstorm and a tree fell on top of my car. And I mean, it didn't do any damage, but it just covered my windshield. We had to get people to come and move the tree so we can go. But I thought, oh my gosh, it's the first time I realized that, gosh, what you think about, it really does. But like I said, thank God you can, once you have a bad thought, you can just switch it really quickly and you don't have to do any worrying about that. Other ways to get your mood going are music and books. They create feelings. So if you want to feel happy, put some happy music on, or read your favorite book that inspires you. All right, now that we learned a little bit about think it and a little bit about feel it, let's put the two together, because now they really start to work when you put them together. All right, I love this. sensory stories. This is a great way to get your mind thinking and get your body feeling. And I have two stories here. I've got one about the beach and one about the forest. So Olga, I don't know if you can hear me. Can we take a vote on, or is that too hard, on which one people would like? Because I think we're going to do this story so people can get an idea what it's like to actually feel a sensory story.
Absolutely. Guys, if you can just turn your microphones on and let us know which one you would prefer, that would be really great.
Beach. I want to be at the beach.
The forest, please.
Okay. Good.
Forest.
So we have two for forest and one for beach. Anyone else? Can we do both, or should we?
They're pretty long, but we could. How about we'll do one? We'll do the beach, and if you want more, we'll do the forest.
Is that okay with everyone?
Well, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I want everybody to just sit really quietly and comfortably, and you can close your eyes for this. That's really what you need to do, because you need to really get your mind visualizing and get your body feeling. So I want you to really imagine yourself in the scene as I talk it through, okay? Okay, so the beach. Imagine you are at the beach. It is a beautiful sunny day with fluffy white clouds placed in the most picturesque places. You can smell the salty fragrance of the ocean as the waves crash upon the expanse of white sand. The sound of the waves is like thunder to your ears. The white seagulls fly overhead as they cry out with happiness. You can feel a burning sensation of the hot sand under your feet, so you decide to wade out into the ocean up to your knees. The cold water is shocking at first, but slowly you become accustomed to it. It feels soothing. Your toes dig into the sand as the force of the water pulls at the sand, making your feet sink deeper. All of a sudden, a big wave comes and almost knocks you over, splashing salty water all over you. You can taste the bitter salt in your mouth. You run out of the water to the colorful beach towel that is waiting for you. You shake the towel to get the sand off of it, and it flies through the air, sticking to your wet skin. You sit down on the sand with your towel wrapped around you, squishing your feet into the dry, warm sand. You begin to create patterns in the sand with your hands. You then scoop up a handful of sand and let it funnel through your fingers. You remember how wonderful it is to be at the beach. As you close your eyes and look up to the sun, all you can see through your lids is a vibrant orange color. You can feel the warm rays tingling your skin. The sound of the bell ring pulls you back to reality. You see an ice cream truck and realize that your stomach is growling and you are hungry. You begin running towards the truck and your heart starts to beat really fast. It's hard running through thick sand. You get to the truck and a friendly man with a big smile shows you a case with different flavors of ice cream. Vanilla, chocolate, and lemon sorbet. Ooh, they all look so good. You settle on the lemon. Your mouth starts to water with anticipation of the first bite. You can smell the sweet and sour flavor even before you take a bite. It makes your whole mouth water as you imagine the lemon flavor on your tongue. You can feel the smooth sorbet as it slides down your throat into your stomach. You always want to remember how happy you are right now. Well, that was the beach. How did you all feel? You can bring me back. Close your eyes. I'm sorry to take you from the beach.
Brava, brava. Thank you.
How did that feel?
That felt great. Very nurturing and relaxing, and I'm craving ice cream now.
It really felt three-dimensional.
Really?
Yeah, I felt it a lot. Was wanting organic ice cream though.
Okay, I'll put that in for the next time. Good thing. But yeah, when you start to visualize like that and you put feelings and taste and all of your senses go into it, again, it's part of that blueprint. The more detailed you get, you're going to get your manifestation much, much faster. Okay, I love this one because I love to daydream. I know when I was a kid and I was sitting in class, I would be staring up to the ceiling, just counting the lights and daydreaming. And you know what? It's a healthy thing to do. Maybe you should learn and not daydream so much in school, but I think everybody should daydream every day. You know, we get to dream during the night, but we don't always remember what our dreams are. But if you daydream during the day, you can create your own dreams. And that again starts helping you create your own reality. You can dream that if you want to be a baseball player, you can imagine yourself in the uniform and standing out on the field and what it feels like to hear the crowd and what it feels like when you hit your first, you hit the ball and it goes out of the park and everybody's screaming. So that's what a daydream can do. It can help you get closer to your dreams by making you feel it. Okay, writing. If you like to write your own story. You can be the star. You know, if you want an adventure in life, write about an adventure. If you want a romance in your life, write about that romance. Again, another way to just help you get more clear on what you want to create. Role playing. I love this because whenever you have a situation that either you're unsure of or you're excited about, it's great to take a friend and say, hey, can we role play this back and forth and let me get it out what I'm going to say and then you say what I think my mother's going to say or my father's going to say or my friend is going to say. And if you role play it through, it's almost like you're getting a trial run. So it helps you again to try to create and to anticipate what to expect when you do get your dreams. Okay, we finally get to be it. So now, once you've gone through think it and feel it, and now you're creating your dreams, you're in the be it phase. When you're in the be it phase, there are a couple things that will help you keep your dreams and keep you manifesting. One of them is being happy and being happy with your truth. So let me read this to you. There is happiness in truth. The truth is who you are right now. If you can accept your truth, you can be happy. It's about self-acceptance. We all need to accept who we are. You know, we all were born into this world with talents and gifts and things that we love about ourselves. And we all have those things that maybe we don't love about ourselves. But if you can accept and embrace everything, that will make you feel better. It will bring you to a higher vibration. And again, it will help you manifest quicker. And what I've found is a lot of the things that we don't like about ourselves end up being our greatest strengths. Like for me, one of the things, you know, I think, oh my gosh, I'm too much of a perfectionist. You know, somebody asks me for photos and, you know, I won't send them to them for a year because I didn't get it perfect. And I'll work and work and work at it. And that can be a hard thing. If I look at the things that I like to do, like photography and editing and speaking, you better darn well be a perfectionist because that will really help you in what you're doing. So take a look at some of those things that you may think are not strengths, and you'll come to find that they're probably your greatest strengths if you accept them about yourself. Louise Hay is another favorite author of mine. Was famous for talking about self-affirmations. And she would say, take a mirror and look at yourself and say, I am amazing. You know, just say, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, I can do this, this is going to be great. You know, give yourself a pep talk in the mirror. If you believe it, everyone else will too. It's about that energy and that attitude that you put out there that will get things done. Greatest strength. Again, embrace the dark side of your soul. It is within these imperfections that our greatest strengths lie. Once you get to that be it phase, you have to keep your light shining bright. So just be yourself and shine bright, and don't be afraid to shine bright. Don't let anybody dim your light. Be bright. you'll attract people just like that. If you dim your light, if you have to dim your light around people, they may not be the people that you want to be around. So just keep that in mind. Don't ever dim your light for anyone. You need to shine bright. People love a bright light. And smile. This is one way to get a really bright light. And when you smile, it helps you connect to others. And when you connect to others, amazing things will start happening. You know, you'll meet somebody that, wow, you know, we have the same things in common. I'm trying to do this. My dream looks a little bit like your dream. Let's team up. That's kind of what happened with Scott and I on the airplane. I smiled and we connected, and now we're writing a book. So smile and connect to others. Here's another poem, Connecting Souls. We are all souls that need to connect. It is that energy that will produce an amazing light, bright enough for even those in the dark to begin to see. Love. Love is one of the greatest emotions that there is. When you have love for yourself and love for others, amazing things will happen. And you will be at probably the highest vibration you can be at when you're filled with love. And when you're at that high vibration, what happens? You can manifest your dreams very quickly. Circle of friends. Friends are very important. They're a support system for you, and they can encourage you and just be there for you always, whenever you need them. So it's very important that you choose your friends correctly. If you ever find yourself in a situation where your friends are not very uplifting, then maybe it's time to sort of back off from that group of friends, because you need to surround yourself with very inspiring people. I like, one of my favorite sayings also is, when you walk with the wise, you become wise yourself. So really choose your friends wisely. And if you're around people that are super uplifting, then you're going to be uplifted. And then you're going to be vibrating in such a high vibration, and your life is going to attract amazing things. Share your dreams. I love this because I love to talk about what I'm doing. And I think that you should never be afraid to talk about the stuff you want to do to people when you're at a party or anywhere, because there's nothing worse than when I say to somebody, so what's up? What have you been doing with yourself? And they say, oh, nothing. Same old, same stuff. I'm like, wow, that's really boring. So I like to say, wow, well, I'm working on this, and I thought about this, and what about this great idea? When you share your dreams, you'll start to find out, oh my gosh, well, again, this person knows this person who could help me get this accomplished. So if you don't talk and you don't share your dreams, you'll never find those things out. And that's how the universe works. It'll put people in your space, but you've got to talk and open that connection so that you can start to manifest. Sacred spot. Now we're kind of in my sacred spot here, that little spot over there by the pillow. That's usually where I sit and I do a lot of my writing. It's so important that you create a space that you can call your own. And it doesn't have to be in your house. If you have a small house, you can go outside, make a nice spot under a tree. Or if you live in a city, if there's a nice little coffee shop you like to go to, or just a quiet space. If you're fortunate enough to have a room in your house, fill that space with things you love. Like I have my books on my bookshelf. I love crystals. So these are all things that just make me feel good. Pictures, put some pictures that inspire you. When you're in a space like this, again, it's all about keeping your energy vibration high and feeling good. Because when you feel good, you'll be able to create very easily. Thank you. This is such a biggie. You need to be so grateful for everything. Whenever I'm trying to manifest, I'm always saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, as if it's already in my life. And not only the things that I'm not only thanking for the things that are showing up in my life, but the things that I'm already blessed with. That you can wake up every morning and just say, thank you for my health. Thank you for my husband. Thank you for my kids. Thank you for my dog. Thank you for the beautiful house. Thank you for my clothes. Thank you for my friendships. Thank you. It's all about thank you. Again, thank you is one of those words and one of those feelings that gets you in a super, super high vibration. And that, starts that manifesting process. So be grateful and thankful for everything that's in your life, even the negative things, because sometimes things show up and you think that it's a negative. But if you say, well, thank you for this negative, you know, I did a film way back, and oh, I can't even tell you, we went through so many struggles. And I kept saying, well, thank you. Thank you for the fact that we had a hard time finding a distributor because I needed to re-edit it. Thank you for the fact that I needed to learn editing. So I would thank all of these terrible situations that kept showing up and say, well, thank you. Because that terrible thing happened, it forced me to do this. So be thankful for everything, the good and the bad, because it always leads you in the right direction. I love this. Be a sign spy. There are signs everywhere. Just the universe will give you signs that will help you along your journey. For me, cats seem to be a sign. Whenever I need a sign from something, I'll end up seeing a cat. It started way back where I was seeing cats run in front of my car all the time. And I would say to my friends, do you see cats? You know, no, I don't see cats like you see cats. I thought, wow, only I'm seeing these cats? So my mother-in-law is the one that told me, well, next time you see the cat, just take notice to what's going on in your life. And I started to do that and noticed that it was about either photography or I was an actress, things like that. And they were always good signs to keep me on my path whenever I saw one. In fact, I had worked at QVC. I was an on-air guest host there for years. And it was coming to the time where I needed to leave. My soul was moving on. I wanted to do more of this type of thing. And I wanted to be able to travel and be with my kids. And I was driving home. It was 2:00 in the morning. And I was struggling. I was struggling for months over what to do. And I finally said, can you show me a sign? I need to know whether I need to leave. Can you show me a cat? And sure enough, a cat ran right in front of my car. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw the cat. But then being the thick head that I was, I said, well, all right, that was one cat, but this is a really big decision. So can you show me another one? Sure enough, another cat runs in front of my car. So what did I do? I said, well, I still have a thick head. Can you show me one more? This is a super big decision. If I see another one, for sure, I'm going to leave. And guess what? I got that third cat. So I got home. Woke my husband up. Like I said, it was like 2:00 in the morning. And I said, I have to leave my job. I have to leave my job. It was a sign. When the universe speaks, you need to listen. That's part of the manifesting process. So the next day, I needed to make a phone call. And I was standing up in my studio with the phone in hand, but I was really having a hard time doing this. So took a deep breath. I looked out of the window, and wouldn't you know it, there was a cat sitting on our wall outside. So I'm like, all right, I know. I need to make the call. And I did. And it was one of the best decisions I ever did. So listen, look for signs. My daughter, Bailey, she hates that I put this in the presentation because she says, Mom, I don't want to be a star. It's not about that. She loves acting. She's an actress. Well, these photos came years ago on her first trip out to LA. She had an opportunity to do some acting out there. And so it was kind of a scary trip because we didn't know what we were going to find. So we get to the airport and we noticed our seats aren't together on the plane. So we were like, oh, this is a bad thing. This is not a good sign. We're not together. So what did we do? It was a situation. We flipped it. We said, okay, let's see if we can go get our seats flipped together. We went up to the counter and we said to the woman, we're not together. Is there any way you can get us together? She said, well, unfortunately not on this flight, but if you can give up your seats, because we have a full flight and there are passengers that would take your seats, I can get you on the next flight. And we're like, well, when is that? And she goes, wait a minute. She said, the flight that I'm putting you on actually gets in a half an hour before your flight gets in. And guess what? I'm going to give you both 2 free tickets for LA. I'm going to give you both free dinner while you wait for the flight. And we got seats with extra legroom by the emergency door. It was the most amazing flight. We're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. The universe really wants you in LA because obviously it's giving you another ticket to even come back. So we had free tickets. We get to our seats and we look out the window, and what does she see? A plane that has the word star on it. And star is just synonymous with acting. And not that you have to be a star, but it's an acting sign. So we were like, oh my gosh. So she gets to LA and we're driving down the street and there's a bus that says Bailey's Coach and there's little stars all over it. So obviously it was the universe's way of saying, you're on the right path. Look, here are these signs. Listen to the signs. And she's doing very well in LA. You know, she was a series regular on True Blood for a couple of years and is constantly working. So sometimes when you're on the right path, the universe will give you great signs so you can follow. Again, when you're on the right path, the universe will also reward you. And I have a couple great stories about this. Years ago, when I was getting into photography, I decided on a whim to just enter a contest. I hadn't done any photography before that. And guess what? I won my first contest. So they always say that when you're on the right track, the universe will reward you and give you a taste of what it feels like to be succeeding, because that keeps you on your path. And right after that, my daughter had a girlfriend and she was at a sleepover. And the next day I went to her house and to pick her up, and they were having a yard sale in their yard. And all of a sudden I look and their whole garage is filled with photography equipment, light stands, light boxes, you know, lights, everything you can imagine to set up an entire studio. And at this time, I didn't have any of those things. And, you know, we were starting out life. I couldn't afford to buy all those things. So I walked in there, and it turns out that the person's father used to shoot for National Geographic. So he was getting rid of all these things. So the woman said, you know what? Why don't you just take them? Just take it. We'll be happy to know that it's going to a good home. So here I am starting out life as a photographer, and the universe is going, yes, do it, do it. Here, look at all these gifts. Go play, go play. So just look for things like that will happen. And just know when those things happen, you are definitely on the right path. Flow with life. The life you are creating is on its way. And just always know that. Go in with knowing that it's on its way. It's on its way. You don't know whether it's going to happen today or tomorrow or the next day, but just always have that knowing that it's on its way. If it doesn't happen immediately, there's usually a reason. It's maybe you need to grow in some ways. Maybe if you were to get your gift right now, you wouldn't be able to handle it, and then you wouldn't be able to keep it. So sometimes when it takes some time to get the gift that you want, or the life that you're envisioning, there's a reason. You need to wait it out because there's some things you need to learn first before getting it. Karma. I love this. Karma is like the energy you put out into life that comes back to you. So I like to think of it as you have a box, and every time you do something good in life or put out positive energy, it's like a little white stone that you throw into that box. And if you happen to do something negative or bad, that's a black stone. So just think about that. Through life, you're putting all these white and black stones in the box, or colored stones, whatever you decide. At the end of your life or throughout your life, you know, when you reach your hand in there, are you going to pick a black rock or are you going to pick a white rock? So the more positive karma you put out there, the more positive karma will come back to you. I have a story about this because my girls are both really positive and they have really good karma. They're putting out into the world really good energy. When Casey was moving into, she had bought a house at one point. She was moving in, and at the time we were building some other houses, and she needed a TV. And we couldn't at the time afford to get her one. So we said, well, you know, maybe we'll give her the TV from our guest room. Well, wouldn't you know it, That day, John comes home and he goes, oh my gosh, I was playing in a golf tournament today. You'll never believe it, but I actually won a television. It was amazing. Another story is when Casey was in college, she was saying, oh, I don't have enough money. I go out with my friends and I only drink water because I don't have enough money for food. I need to get more food. It's just everything's so expensive. My friends want to go out to eat all the time. And we're like, well, Casey, you're on a budget. So, we'll help you out if you can, but you have to stay on a budget. So she comes back a few days later and she goes, you're never going to guess what just happened. She won, I guess there was like a raffle for restaurant week in our town, and it was a $3,000 gift certificate to all the restaurants in Bethlehem. She actually won that. So it was the universe's way of rewarding her and saying, here, Casey, you can eat. Go have fun with your friends. And one more story. My niece, we were down in Florida, and we were at an arcade, and I was super excited to bring her to this arcade. My husband and I took her. And we used to play these skee ball machines when we were little, and all the tickets come out of the machine, and then you can go up to the counter and pick out your prize. Well, for some reason, she wasn't getting any of these tickets, and I was just imagining her having all these tickets because I wanted her to have the fun of picking out a prize. So, little by little, she's getting one or two, but not very many. All of a sudden, this woman walks out of nowhere with arms. I mean, I'm telling you, her arms were filled with tickets. She said, you know what? Would you like these? I don't really want any gifts, and your little girl looks like she could use some. So we were like, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love those karma stories. So in the end, we come back to think it, feel it, be it. And the reason I have the circle there is because it's a process. You're thinking it, feeling it, being it, and pushing it along. Thinking it, feeling it, being it, and it just is a constant circle. Constant. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to take them now. I still love talking about this. Oh, and one thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't is it's always good to be in service to others as well. It just made me think of it when we were talking about what that woman did at the arcade. When you do things to help people, again, that brings your karma level up, and it just helps you manifest, puts you in better spirits. It's, they always say that you get more from doing for people than taking from people. And it's really true. It makes you feel so good. So you just want to stay in that feeling good state so that you can think it, feel it, be it, and start all over and stay in that circle.
Lynn, thank you so much for your wonderful service, for contributing to our community initiative. What a perfect topic. I love that. All of the reminders, all of the components. It's almost like, if you have this specific formula and you remember to practice it, you will develop the spiritual ability to call in all of these things into your life. Right. So you have the system in place first, and then you develop this innate feeling of being in the flow and sensing when all of the things are coming into your life. It's beautiful.
It is a spiritual thing, but I don't want to put too much attention on that, on saying that, because a lot of people will say, well, I'm not spiritual, I can't do this. Everybody can do this.
Absolutely. And that was my point too. Even people who are in their brain and very cerebral, you can still do it. If you have this system, it's totally possible. It's so valuable. It's great.
I just wanted to say thank you, and that this is exactly what has been happening to me ever since a few days before the Scorpio full moon, and all these amazing synchronicities and really amazing ecstatic experiences that I've never experienced before, except for a long time ago, but I thought it was because I was on psychedelics that was creating this experience, until recently I had this experience completely sober with a certain individual I feel like I had met in a past life. And it's been very mind-boggling, and I've reached out to a lot of guides, and a lot of guides have shown themselves after a long time of me praying for guidance and almost a decade of suffering and hard work. I appreciate you talking about the tingling sensation of when you're in that frequency. I experienced that. That's the experience I've had with this person that I recently met, that I feel I met in another life. And then that night, just kind of went into a trance with this person and experienced that tingling sensation all over my body and received like all of these visions, and everything just seemed to line up. And yeah, this has been going on for a little bit over 2 weeks now, and it's I've always been a skeptic about New Age stuff.
I was going to say, they always say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And it seems like that's exactly what happened. And I also want to say that to get to that vibration, you can probably get to a higher vibration when you're not under the influence of drugs or anything like that. I know a lot of people talk about doing those things to get to that place, but I think if you come from a pure place, you can even reach further.
So true.
Yeah.
You know, I have so many of my own stories about manifestations and instant manifestations, but my favorite is by Papaji, this a spiritual teacher from India. Many are probably familiar with him. And he has this story, and it's called Show Me God. When a little girl, about 8 years old, comes to him and she says, Papaji, you keep talking about God, but I've never seen God. Can you show me God? And he tells the little girl, why don't you go to school and tomorrow I will show you God. So tomorrow comes and the little girl comes and she asks him again to show her God. And he goes, your school bus is waiting for you. Go to school. Tomorrow I will show you God. She gets all upset and she says, every time you tell me tomorrow, I'm not going to wait. I want to see God now. And he goes, all right, then you have to come to my room. And when you're ready, you need to offer, when God comes, you need to offer something to him. So she thinks for a moment and she goes, all right, I have some chocolate in my bag, so I can offer that to God. And she comes into the room and she waits and waits and waits and nothing happens. So she goes to Papaji. You lied to me. There is no God. I had this chocolate and nothing happened. So he goes, but this is not how it works. You first need to extend your hand with the chocolate and actually offer it to him, and only then God comes. So, and of course she did that, and God came and took all of the chocolate, didn't leave her anything. She was upset about that, but she saw God and she told her mother, and she drew the most amazing painting after that.
The most amazing what?
Painting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a very, very beautiful story, and it's also on YouTube if you'd like to listen to it. It's called Show Me God by Papaji.
Yeah, I'll listen to that. I'll look at it. Look for it. See, I love just listening to you tell a story like that. Puts me in that tingling, chills vibration. So that's why it's so important. Go to YouTube. There's so many things on YouTube right now, so many inspiring things or TED Talks that you can watch that can get you in that inspiring space. Sometimes I love to start my day with a little 5 or 10 minute video like that I know will put me in just a high all day.
Absolutely. That just being in that mindset completely changes the whole vortex around you.
Yes, it does.
Hi, Dina.
Hi. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Lynn. That was beautiful. I'm actually, I was just looking at your website. I'm admiring the photography because I'm also a photographer. And my photography, I would say, also is kind of more spiritual because as a kind of spiritual teacher, I also see the world in a different way. So I appreciate your fusion of, you know, being able to see life beyond just the physical. There's more to it. And Olga was messaging me. She's like, "Oh, Lynn is talking about what you usually talk about," which is, yeah, I talk about frequency and vibration a lot. And I think the piece that you included, but I like to always focus on is it's really the frequency itself that matters the most. And it's, you know, I've been noticing it's also the brain waves themselves, like where we are in terms of how we not just visualize but like mentalize what we want to create. And the high emotion that you've mentioned with the movies, and I've noticed it's not just happy emotion but even anger creates, because emotion is you know, energy in motion. So
Right.
even anger, having that kind of energy, if you use it in a for a specific intention, for that focus of what you want to create, that too works, which is pretty fascinating. So as long as it's a high energy that has high frequency, even, you know, so and in a focused kind of intention way, I've been able to manifest, and I teach others too how to do so. So thank you for this.
What's your favorite manifesting story?
My favorite manifesting story, well, I think the one that I'll be sharing in a couple of weeks, which is meeting my husband, and which which I feel is a manifestation, because I definitely, it was the intention in motion. And I think like anything really that I set myself, I give myself like a timeline, and you know, a specific thing that I need in my life at that point. And if I need to move something in my life, and I allow myself for it to happen. Yeah, so more to come. Thank you.
Okay, you'll have to put me in touch with her so I can look at your photos also.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll
Absolutely.
connect you ladies on Facebook. But the other side of this, the other end of the spectrum, but the least favorite experiences, and this is also an example of, I guess, negative manifestations. I posted about this on Facebook a few weeks ago. I'm rushing to work in the morning, waiting for my coffee at the store, and a man just cuts in front of me, almost like pushing me to the side. And I had a great degree of annoyance. I didn't say anything, but I'm like, oh my God, he definitely saw me. How could he do that? And I had so much like irritation, you know, building up in me. And a second later, he leaves the counter and he spills a huge big cup of coffee all over his white shirt. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. I know I'm not the one in control here, but I have to be careful with my thoughts. That was scary.
That's funny. One of my daughter's best girlfriends, Amy, she cracks me up because she'll say, "Oh my gosh, I accidentally manifested." It's her favorite saying. "I accidentally manifested this."
Yeah, we
Yes,
need to
that's
be
what.
very, very specific.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. Be careful what you wish for sure.
Yeah. Michelle, I think you mentioned you had
Look
some
at that
questions.
situation.
Yes, and I'm so glad because it's immediately relevant. Thank you so much. First of all, this presentation is so generous. There's so much in it. I'm really grateful to be participating.
Oh, thank you.
And my question is, for example, I'd like to teach at a retreat center in California. However, I've never been there. Can I manifest with enough specificity, just knowing the name or maybe looking at some pictures online? How important is visualization and, like, you know, the specificity in your visual?
I think from where you are right now, all the information you have is probably all you need. You know, when you're ready to see more, then you'll see more. So if you feel that you need to look online and find pictures of where you're going, or feel what it feels like to be in the job that you want to do there. You know, get all those feelings going, that excitement. Don't put any doubt in your mind. Is it something that you're waiting to hear if you get the job, or are you're just wondering if you want to go?
Oh no, I have a list of places I would like to teach that grow and grow and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm visiting one next week. It's like coming toward me. So I think I have had a few manifestation success stories, and I've made vision boards, and they blow my mind. Things on the vision board come true.
Yes.
And I was told, this is interesting, by a coach, because I'm a book editor and a writing teacher.
Okay.
And I was told by a coach that my vision board should be largely pictures because I'm so verbal. And she said pictures communicate more directly to the brain, or with the brain, without being mediated by language. And if I were, gaze at my vision board daily, it will be entering a mode of communication that's, not habitual for me, and therefore and more direct and speedy almost, because I'm such a verbal person, to eliminate that filter is like more direct activation, so.
Let me tell you this is what I feel and what I've come to know, that sometimes we can think through things too much. So I think the simpler you can keep it, the better off it is. There's no right or wrong way to do a vision board. If you feel you want a picture on there, put the picture on there. If you feel you want words on there, put the words on there. There's no right or wrong. So sometimes I think the less you think about things, the greater the impact, because the less you think about it, you already know.
I'm almost afraid to want something so badly. I think culture in certain ways discourages hot desire, because you're like, wanting something too badly can feel uncomfortable or unsafe. So I think I'm worried about spending time in the vision and really visualizing my highest and best vision, because it's a little uncomfortable. It's like, then I reckon with, do I deserve this, and other, feelings.
Well, just know you deserve everything, and that's part of the self-acceptance that we talked about. But honestly, seriously, keep it simple and don't think too much about it, because the more sometimes I say, yes, put the thoughts out there, create the vision. Once you do that, you don't have to sit and stare at it all day long. It's going to come true. It's coming true. It's coming true. It's coming true. When you do that it's almost like, I have to do this because it's not going to come true. If I don't keep staring at it, then it's not going to come true. And when you say it's not going to come true, then it's not going to come true. So the more you just say, okay, here, I made these blueprints out. I've got this vision in my head. Run with it, universe. Thank you. And
That's a great point. And I just wanted to say there's so much magic in being able to let go. Once you have that specific, you just, I think the last and the crucial component is trust, just letting go into that universal trust and let everything conspire to make it happen. Lynn, thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. And I don't know if anyone else has any questions. Now is probably a good time to ask before we wrap up.
I also liked your Smile TED Talk, by the way. I watched it last week.
Oh, thank you. I love smiling. I love smiling too.
Well, have a good night, everyone.
Appreciate this.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming to our webinars. We have a few more left this month. All are free. A few more beautiful topics. Michelle will be presenting later on about the art and wisdom of labyrinth. And Dina will be offering one on relationships. So many great offerings to look forward to.
Lynn, I invite you to join because I use the labyrinth as a manifesting tool.
Oh,
I would
Wow,
love that.
that's great. Yeah.
I
You
always
can
wanted
use a walking labyrinth or a finger labyrinth, and there are
Oh.
ways to use it in manifesting.
Okay, what day are you talking?
May 26th in the morning.
I'll write that down. That does sound
Thanks. I hope you can join or see the recording.
Wonderful.
You'll dig it.
awesome. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Olga.
Bye.
Bye.